Thank you all for being here. We have a great announcement today, obviously, and what's so terrific about it is it's something that goes back to the very founding of Salve when it was started by the Sisters of Mercy in 1947. Here we are today and building on part of the very foundation of this university. I ask Sister Jane to come up, our president.
Thank you, Michael. This really is a wonderful day, and the announcement of this wonderful program that is the extension of our nursing program, which, as Michael said, started in 1947, and we have Salve nurses out there all over the world, actually. Some of you may know that I took a detour from my academic career into healthcare administration that lasted for about 16 years. I'm happy to be home in academia, but I also learned a great deal when I was a hospital administrator. And one of the things that I learned was to respect and to love nurses. I could go on and on about the value of nurses within hospital acute care, but also out into the community. They are the heart of the matter in so many ways. Their skill is what affords health to so many people. Therefore, Salve has always valued its nurses and its nursing program. The other thing, of course, as Sisters of Mercy that we value a great deal is the notion of access. Access to basic human needs, health, education, food, housing. What I think we're doing with the Doctor of Nurse Practitioner program is extending that notion of access. And I think of it in two ways. One, access for nurses to get the education that they need while working. But the other, access to health care that is a crying need in our country. We're taking some big steps toward broadening that access, but I think the notion of nurse practitioners, those who have doctorates in nurse practice, are the ones that will extend and offer access to care in a very, very wide community. So it thrills me actually to be talking today and making our announcement of this new program. Right now, to tell you much more about it, one of the essential authors of the program I'd like to introduce to you, and that is Dr. Eileen Gray, who is the chair of our nursing department. This was her baby, and we are giving birth to this baby today. Eileen Gray.
Good morning, everyone. Senator Reed, Sister Jane, Sister Trace, Mr. and Mrs. Rodgers, other honored guests. It is an honor to be here today to discuss Salve Regina's newest degree, the Doctor of Nursing Practice, or DNP, as we refer to it. So one might be asking, why a DNP? Why now? Why Salve? To answer the question of why a DNP, a Doctor of Nursing Practice is the most advanced nursing degree that focuses strictly on clinical practice. The degree is centered on knowledge, application in the clinical arena, whereas a PhD focuses on knowledge and development in the research arena. It is clear in today's healthcare in America that we need more clinicians, and DNPs provide that. Graduates can practice independently in many states, including Rhode Island. They can serve as faculty, and this is significant considering that 70% of faculty in nursing programs are over 50 years old. Half of those are over 60. Why now? Today's patients face more challenging and complex health conditions than ever before. They need to have provided for them highly competent and effective care. They need preventive services. We need improved patient safety. These factors and others demand a higher level of preparation for leaders who can design and assess care. Doctorally prepared nurses are ideally suited to meet these current challenges. In the era of cost containment, care must be efficient for optimal outcomes to occur. Assessments and interventions must be rapid, and they must be on target. The landmark report from the Institute of Medicine, The Future of Nursing, Leading Change, Advancing Healthcare, describes the challenges of healthcare today. The report speaks to the challenges facing our nation today. The American population is older. Americans 65 and older will be nearly 20% of the population by the year 2030, as well as more diverse with respect not only to race and ethnicity, but also other cultural and socioeconomic factors. In addition to shifts in the nation's demographics, there also have been shifts in the nation's healthcare needs. Most healthcare today relates to chronic illnesses, such as diabetes, hypertension, arthritis, cardiovascular disease, mental health conditions. These are due in part to the nation's aging population, and it is compounded, these diseases are compounded by the increasing, frightening obesity levels in this country. While chronic conditions account for most of the care needed today, the United States healthcare system was primarily built around treating acute illnesses and injuries, the predominant health challenges of the early 20th century. The ways in which nurses were educated during the 20th century are no longer adequate for dealing with the realities of health and health care in the 21st century. As patient needs and care environments have become more complex, nurses need to attain the requisite competencies to deliver high-quality care. In a 2005 report, Advancing the Nation's Health Needs, the National Institute of Medicine and the National Academies of Sciences called for nurses to develop a non-research clinical doctorate to prepare expert practitioners who can also serve as clinical faculty. This work to advance the DNP is consistent with this call to action. Nurses are also being called to fill expanding roles and to master information management systems while collaborating and coordinating care across teams of all health professionals. Nurses must achieve higher levels of education and training to respond to these increasing demands. So why Salve? Why not? We all know that Salve Regina is a community that seeks wisdom, mercy, and promotes universal justice. DNP graduates will foster and facilitate evidence-based practice to address current complex patient needs and preventative health care. DNP graduates will use cultural expertise to develop healthcare models that influence universal health-seeking and health promotion behaviors for all individuals. DNP graduates will advocate for social justice, inequity in healthcare through leading redesign of regulatory, legislative, and public policy. Our program. The Salve Regina University DNP program is unique in that it is offered in a hybrid format. This format allows students to meet with professors face-to-face and the flexibility to complete the remainder of their didactic work online. By combining online and classroom experience in each course, DNP students will have flexibility in the content delivery. The program is designed to be completed in 5 years, with the first 3 years concentrating on specialty certification as family nurse practitioners. The program will be offered year-round on a part-time basis. After the first 3 years of the program, students will be able to sit for the Family Nurse Practitioner Certification exam. They will then go on to complete the remainder of the DNP requirements. The healthcare industry is facing challenges due to the high cost of quality healthcare and the limited number of healthcare providers. Salve Regina's Department of Nursing is proud to offer the Practice Doctorate in Nursing, DNP. The program will provide clinicians who are able to navigate complex and evolving healthcare systems while providing high-quality care in an interdisciplinary and evidence-based environment. Before I close, I would like to say a very, very, very special heartfelt thanks to Dr. Tracy Warrington. Without her mentorship for me, I could not have done this alone. So I'd like to thank everyone and thank you for your time. There's brochures out there that tell more about the program, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
I think you'll agree that we've chosen the right leader for the DNP program, and Dr. Gray is herself a doctor of nurse practice, so she knows it from the inside, and now is looking forward to sharing that with so many other nurses. So thank you, Eileen. You know, we're really lucky here in Rhode Island, in my view, to have the wonderful delegation that we have in Congress, and especially to have our senior senator from Rhode Island, in Senator Jack Reed. I know that Senator Reed needs no introduction, but what I also know about him is his values, and the work that he has done is so consonant with what Salve does, and also with what the Pell Center and Senator Pell stood for, putting ideas into practice and helping people. He has borne the heat of the day in terms of fighting for people who need so much, and he continues to do that. We here at Salve are grateful to you, Jack, and I'd like to introduce you now to our audience.
Thank you very much, Sister, for that very, very kind introduction, for your extraordinary leadership. I want to recognize Dr. Gray. Thank you. I'm going to just amplify what you said, but not as well, so forgive me. Mr. and Mrs. Rodgers, thank you for your leadership here, which is a generational, not just you, but your father, and thank you for your generosity too today. Of course, Sister, thank you for your leadership. You have captured more eloquently than I the important role that nurses play. And it's not just, in my view, an operational role or a technical role or a professional role, because when you're looking in the healthcare system for compassion and kindness, you find it typically in nurses. And that's an important part of healthcare, in my view. So what you're doing today is extraordinarily important and exciting, very challenging. And finally, I want to thank Michael Semenza, not just for organizing today, but for doing all the things he does every day to make Salve such an important part of this community and this state. And I said finally, but I'm a senator, so I can revise and extend. Sister Therese, thank you for your great leadership, your presence, and your constant support of all these things that are wonderful at Salve Regina University. The nursing program was founded in 1947, a few years before my founding in 1949. So I feel as if it's been here all my life. And Eileen, you're not the only one who's pushed past 60 and still pushing on. But Salve has always had this association with the nursing programs, with producing nurses for our state and for the nation. And this is the logical step forward, this new doctoral program, because it builds on this existing infrastructure of excellent nurse education, and it also advances it to meet the needs of the present day. We have millions of people coming into the healthcare system, some for the first time getting dependable, constant health care. And we need more practitioners. And we will not meet that need unless we expand the expertise of our nurses and we begin to cooperate and collaborate with every health professional, doctors, nurses, trained clinicians of all types. And this program is going to be at the vanguard of that effort. So it's just so exciting. We also understand, too, as Dr. Gray pointed out, that we baby boomers are becoming a larger part of the population. It's been estimated by the Pew Center that roughly 10,000 baby boomers, a term I thought I'd never use, will become eligible for Medicare every day from today through 2030. That's 10,000 people coming into the Medicare system every day. That means we're going to need a lot of healthcare professionals, and in my view, the most efficient and most effective are, frankly, these nurse practitioners, these PhD nurses. So we'll need a lot more. Critical to our workforce, and again, I'm repeating what Eileen said before, a study by the HRSA, roughly a third of the present workforce of nurses today are over 50 years old. So you have several demands coming together. You have nurses who will eventually retire, a third of them within the next 10 to 15 years, and then you have millions more people needing care. So you have two powerful forces that are crying out for more highly skilled nurse practitioners, and that's exactly what Salve is doing. Now, we have to reinforce these efforts, and I hope I can in Washington. We're sponsoring what is called the Primary Care Workforce for the Future Act to provide more incentives for nurse practitioners for these types of programs, and we hope Salve can benefit from it. We have to fund existing programs like the Title VII Health Professionals Program and the Title VIII Nursing Workforce Development Programs. With those resources, we can help universities like Salve Regina with their programs and help these individuals prosper and go forward. This is going to be a growing part of our economy. It's going to be a growing part of our workforce. And it's no surprise that Salve Regina University is once again in the lead, out front, leading us all forward to a better future, committed to the values of justice and mercy. And I had to say that because as I went to the Sister Mercies as a first grader, and that's the first thing we learned. So, Sister, good luck. Thank you.
He's a mercy man, we can tell. It's really my great pleasure now to introduce another mercy man. You know, one of our themes that has developed here as we've spoken is this notion of tradition that goes way back, in our case to 1947, and cutting edge. All the things that we're doing that look at the new world that we're in and are going to be in, and say, we've got to change, we've got to do something new. It's that blend of tradition. We have our own tradition here on the Board of Trustees in terms of great benevolence and great generosity to Salve Regina. It started with Tom Rodgers. And if you're ever on our campus and look at the Rodgers Recreation Center, named for him and his great generosity to us. We have young Tom Rodgers now. Who is he qualified for Medicare yet? Maybe. Yep. Young Tom Rodgers has stepped right into his father's footsteps, has been a very valuable board member and also a very generous one in terms of this program. He'll tell you the story about how he decided to do it. I won't do that for him. But it didn't take much, it didn't take long for him to say, yes, I'm with you in this great endeavor. So I'd like to introduce to you now Thomas A. Rodgers III, trustee at Salve and great benefactor to the Doctor of Nurse Practice program. Tom.
Thank you, Sister. Good morning. As many of you know, my father cared deeply about Salve Regina and was a long-serving member of the Board of Trustees. He felt strongly that his role was to help the university build upon its strengths to advance its academic offerings in both the undergraduate and graduate levels. And today, I'm happy to share the news of our family's continued support of Salve. I believe the Doctor of Nursing Practitioner program is a natural next step for the university in terms of nursing education and for all those interested in the healthcare environment. We are proud to have the Rodgers name affiliated with health and wellness on campus through the Rec Center and now through this wonderful new program of the Doctor of Nursing Practice. Thank you, and I will tell you the story of, there's an old saying that there's no such thing as a free lunch. It's true. Sister Jane and Michael Semenza invited me to lunch about 3 months ago. And it cost me $1 million.
You have it, Vintage Tom. Thank you so much. So it's launched. We're on our way. We already have students in the program who are signing up. They'll begin in September, and we look forward to it growing and flourishing. Thanks so much to everybody for coming. Watch the progress of it. And one of these days, you will be treated by one of Salve Regina's nurse practitioners. Please join us for a reception now. Thanks.
Thank you all. Senator, you've been here twice this week, and we really appreciate you making time for us. To Tom and to Gisela, thank you for everything that you have done and continue to do for Salve. We are truly grateful. Sister Therese and Eileen, and of course, Tracy, thank you. Working together with you has been wonderful, and I know that there's a really wonderful future in the nursing program and the DNP program here. So thank you all for being here.